Welcome to Teachers Lab Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educators. I'm your today's host, Kadu Victor, and we have a special episode. We're going to explore the exciting realms of project-based learning and Reggio Emillia approach, both of which can revolutionize your teaching methods and ignite your students' passion for learning. Okay, let's start by delving into project-based learning and how it can benefit you as an educator. It is not just about engaging students, it's about transforming your teaching approach. Project-based learning, or PBL, is a great approach for teaching English. You can integrate PBL into your lessons to engage students actively. You can also design your projects that require them to use English in real-world scenarios, such as creating a travel brochure, organizing a debate, or even producing a short film or a play. PBL promotes language acquisition, critical thinking, and teamwork. Now, let's shift our focus to the Reggio Emillia approach and how it can inspire your teaching. This approach recognizes teachers as co-learners and encourages collaboration with students. The Reggio Emillia approach is a renowned educational philosophy that emphasizes child-centered experiential learning. While it's not directly related to teaching English, you can still incorporate some of its principles into your English lessons. For example, you can create a classroom environment that encourages exploration, creativity, and collaboration by allowing students to choose topics of interest for writing assignments or group projects, giving them a sense of autonomy in their learning. Additionally, you can document and display their work to celebrate their achievements, as this approach values the importance of showcasing children's effort. What's truly exciting is how these two methodologies can complement each other in your teaching practice. By combining the strengths of PBL and the Reggio Emillia approach, you can create transformative learning experiences for your students. Now, we're going to mention some similarities between PBL and the Reggio Emillia approach. The first one is child-centered learning. Both approaches place a strong emphasis on students taking an active role in their education. In PBL, students drive their learning through projects given by the teacher, while in Reggio Emillia, children's interests guide the curriculum. The second one is experiential learning and collaboration. Both PBL and Reggio Emillia prioritize hands-on experiential learning. Students engage in real-world tasks, group projects, and experiences to gain a deeper understanding of concepts. The last one is critical thinking. Both PBL and the Reggio Emillia approach promote critical thinking skills. In PBL, students must solve complex problems within their projects, and in Reggio Emillia, children are encouraged to ask questions and explore topics deeply. While PBL and the Reggio Emillia approach share similarities, they also have distinct differences, such as origin and context. PBL originated in the field of education and is often used in various subjects, including English. The Reggio Emillia approach to early childhood education originated in the town of Reggio Emilia, Italy, following World War II. It was developed by the educator Lauris Malaguzzi, along with parents, teachers, and community members who shared a vision for a unique and child-centered educational philosophy. Concerning to age group, PBL can be applied to various age groups, including older students and adults. The Reggio Emillia approach is primarily designed for early childhood education, typically children from birth to 6 years old. Dealing with curriculum and structure, PBL often follows a structured project framework with defining phases, including project initiation, planning, execution, and presentation. The Reggio Emillia approach is more flexible and adaptable, allowing for emerging curriculum based on children's interests and inquiries. About the role of the teachers, in PBL, teachers often play a more active role in guiding students through the project process. In the Reggio Emillia approach, teachers take on the role of observers and facilitators, allowing children to lead their learning experiences. Relating to documentation, while both approaches value documentation, the purpose and methods may differ. In PBL, documentation often focuses on project progress and outcomes. So, in a way, the finished project is more important than the children's development. In the Reggio Emillia approach, documentation serves to make children's learning visible, emphasizing the process of exploration and discovery. So, in this case, children's development is more important than the finished project. Involving authentic assessment, PBL often includes specific assessment criteria tied to project objectives and learning outcomes. The Reggio Emilia approach relies on continuous assessment and documentation to inform teaching practices rather than formal testing. In relation to emphasis on art and aesthetics, the Reggio Emilia approach places a strong emphasis on artistic expression and aesthetics, often integrating visual arts into learning experiences. While PBL may incorporate creative elements, it doesn't prioritize aesthetics to the same extent. In summary, while both PBL and the Reggio Emilia approach foster student engagement, critical thinking, and collaboration, they have different oranges, target age groups, structures, teacher roles, and assessment methods. These differences make each approach suitable for specific educational contexts and age groups. By integrating elements from both PBL and the Reggio Emilia approach, you can create a dynamic and student-centered English teaching environment that promotes active learning and creativity. As an educator, implementing these approaches can lead to incredible outcomes. Your role becomes that of a facilitator, guiding students as they explore their interests, ask questions, and make discoveries. For example, for very young children up to 3 or 4 years old, we could use PBL and the Reggio Emilia approach to make a 5 senses project, which could be done in 5 or even 25 classes, specifying 1 class or even 5 classes for each sense. Although the main theme would be the 5 senses, there should be multidisciplinary contests such as numbers, colors, shapes, and other vocabulary that children could ask to, and believe me, they ask. Other example, for older children from 4 or 5 years old to 8 or 9 years old, we could make a My Neighborhood or City project, in which they would explore where they live by producing art. Paintings, photography, maps, mock-ups, or even poetry for those who already managed to write. Multidisciplinary would be almost necessary in this project because they could also remember numbers, colors, and previous vocabulary, but also they can measure and weight objects to compare them, measure the distance between their house and the school, for example, and even more things that they can come up to. Don't subestimate their imagination and creativity. As we conclude this episode, remember that project-based learning and the Reggio Emilia approach have the potential to invigorate your teaching and enrich your students' learning journeys. If you're passionate about education, we hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration to explore these approaches further in your classroom. Thank you for listening. See you later, alligator.